Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the SCSRA Xfinity Series. Tonight, these Xfinity cars will be taking on the high banks of Bristol Motor Speedway for 150 laps of racing action. I'm going to be your announcer for tonight, Atlee Atman-Weiss, and I'm excited to call every second of tonight's Volunteer 80. Now, last week, we were at none other than Darlington for the SCSRA's throwback race, and it was a double points race. And we saw Brian Newty. He absolutely dominated the 180-lap race, leading 160 of the 180 laps. Started on the pole, finished in first. Just an all-around dominant night. Brian Newty finishing second was Devin Buchno. Jeffrey Belk. Fourth was Joe Wright, and rounding out your top five, that was Eddie Morris. He led the other 20 laps of the race. Sixth was Colin Willems. Seventh was Dave Wright. Eighth was the 43 of David Hartney, finishing ninth. That was Intensity Broadcasting Zone Josh Hall. And rounding out your top 10, that is Derek Chaput. So now, after the events of Darlington, here is a look at your point standings, and it'll pop up on your screen in just a second. And remember, we are down to the final two races of the regular season, so playoff implications, they are on the line. So right now, Colin Willems, he is your point standings leader, but he only has a 2-point lead over second place Devin Buchno. This race very well could determine who will be our point standings leader. And maybe Devin Buchno after this race, or Colin Willems may continue to keep that point standings lead. We see Brian Newty sitting third in the points. Fourth is Eddie Morris. Fifth is Jeffrey Belk, right now in sixth. That is Austin Blaylock. Seventh is Joe Wright. Eighth is Brian Merle Jr. Ninth is Dustin Dean. And rounding out your top 10 right now in points, that is Derek Chaput. Actually, we have a tie for 10th between Derek Chaput and Josh Hall. And right now, top 12 in points make the playoffs. You also are locked in with a win. So right now, the cutoff line, we've got Dave Wright. He is the first car above the cutoff line. And then the first car below the cutoff line, that is Brett Merle. And Brett, he is 28 points below the cutoff line. Looks like Brett is not in tonight's event. So it looks like Brett Merle's playoff hopes are beginning to slip away. That, of course, is because Brett Merle is absent, because him and his wife just had a baby. So congratulations to Brett and his wife on the new bundle of joy. And hopefully we can get Brett back racing soon. So right now it's looking like Dave Wright will hold on to that 12th place spot. Of course, other things will change because it looks like one of the drivers in the top 12 in points, Dustin Dean, he is also not in tonight's event, and he has already missed 2 races. So there's a lot of stuff to consider, and all of that will be taken into account after tonight's event. Qualifying underway here at Bristol. Drivers will get 2 laps to try to set their best possible lap time, and that will determine where they will start on the grid. SCSRA also has teams, and here's a look at the current team standings. CCM remains the team standings leader. They have grabbed 6 wins this season. 4 of those wins have come from Brian Newty. The other 2 have come from Austin Blaylock. Second in the team standings, that is Neon Racing. They have grabbed 1 win this season, and that win came from Devin Buchno. Third is Intensity DBC Racing. They have gotten 1 win this season, and that came from Jeffrey Belk. Fourth in the team standings, that's Wasted Wages Racing. They have gotten 1 win this season, and that came from Colin Willems. Rounding out your top 5, that is Cheeseburger Motorsports. And they have not gotten a win this season. Currently, their driver highest in the point standings is Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. who currently sits 14th in the standings. And then rounding out your top 6, we've got all of the independents. Currently, the independent highest in the standings is Edward Manning, who sits at 19th. So there you go. That is a recap of everything heading into this race. Qualifying underway, Brian Merle Jr. on the top of the board with a 15.22. Jr. is searching for his first pole of the season. Joe Wright sits second with a 15.26. That will put him 400ths behind Jr. And rounding out your top 3, that is Jeffrey Belk with a 15.42, putting Belk 0.2 off of Brian Merle Jr. We're watching Derek Chaput in the 37 machine. He is on track right now. Let's see what lap time he is going to turn. Heading off of turn number 4 and on to the front stretch. Derek Chaput is going to get to... It looks like that first lap actually did not count. I don't know if he maybe tagged the wall or something, so he's going to go around and after completing that lap. That lap also did not count. Austin Blaylock able to get to second on the board with a 15.26. That will put him 400ths off of first place Brian Merle Jr. Looks like him and Joe Wright ran identical lap times to the 100th of a second. So looks like it came down to the 1,000th or 10,000th of a second. And iRacing will give the position to Blaylock. Want to give a big shout out to our series sponsor, Devs Sports Cards. There you see their logo right there. They're the official sponsor of the SCSRA Xfinity Series. Devs Sports Cards was established in 2013 by SCSRA driver and Neon Racing team owner Devin Butchino. Dev Sports Cards specializes in all your sports cards and gaming cards needs, from football, baseball, and basketball cards to Pokemon. Dev Sports Cards sells it all. On their eBay store, you can find a wide variety of items from high-end sports cards to their weekly 99-cent starting bid 7-day auctions. Don't have time to sell your own cards? Reach out to Devin and ask about his consignment services. Simply package them up, ship them out, and Devin will get them listed, sold, and then you get paid. Dev Sports Cards can be found on eBay with 4,000 plus positive feedback, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Dev Sports Cards is a proud sponsor of the SCSRA series and Intensity Broadcasting. So thank you so much to Devin and Dev Sports Cards for sponsoring the Xfinity series. If you are a big sports card fan, definitely consider checking them out. I put the link to Dev Sports Cards' eBay store in the description. There's some pretty cool cards on there that you're definitely going to want to check out. Looks like Colin Willems able to get to the top of the board with a 15.14. That will put him 800ths ahead over second place Brian Merle Jr. Blaylock falls to third. He is a 10th off of Colin Willems. If Colin Willems were to win the pole tonight, it will be his third pole of the season, which will be the most among drivers here in Season 4. He is currently tied with Brian Nudi for most poles this season. Both of them have 2. Intensity Broadcasting is proud to be partnered with Butt Kicker. And for those of you who do not know what Butt Kicker is, let me tell you a little bit about them. Butt Kicker is the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing and gaming hardware that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of butt kicker products and figure out which one is right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Again, thebuttkicker.com is the website belonging to the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. So thank you so much once again to the Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. If you're an iRacer, definitely make sure to go check them out. They've got fantastic products, and it makes for a very realistic experience on the sim. You feel like you were driving a real-life race car. I always make sure to use mine when I am on the sim, and you can feel every little thing. It just makes for a phenomenal, phenomenal experience when you are on the sim. I know we have a few drivers in this series that use them, and I know Joe Wright and Josh Hall both have butt kickers, and both of them really seem to like them, and I think you will too, so definitely consider checking out the Butt Kicker. Oh, in his qualifying run, Dave Wright hard into the inside wall. Not the way that Dave Wright wanted his qualifying attempt to go. Looks like he did not complete a lap. There's Eddie Morris exiting pit road in the number 8 Morris Customs machine. Eddie Morris hoping to get his first win of the season here tonight. Had a good run last week at Darlington, leading 20 of the 180 laps, but after a rough chain of events, he ended up finishing 5th. But he was running second behind Brian Nudi for a lot of that event. Currently sits 4th in the standings. He has gotten a pole this season. 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s. And Eddie Morris will go to the top of the board with a 15.13. And that will put him 100th ahead of Colin Willems. And looks like Eddie Morris, unless somebody else turns a good lap time, he will grab his second pole of the season. But wait, looks like Devin Bushnell going out and trying to top Eddie's time. We will see if he can do it. Here are my keys to the race for tonight's event here at Bristol. Starting off, tires. Whichever driver can say it, this track eats up tires with its high banking and fast corners, so whoever can save their tires the best is going to do very, very well tonight. Another key is there are a lot of different racing lines throughout this track. You can run up against the wall, you can run in the middle, you can run on the bottom, and you'll see drivers throughout runs migrating to all of these different lines. You just got to try to search and find what's the fastest, so the driver who's good at that is going to be very, very successful. Of course, there's going to be some short track shenanigans here tonight. You're going to have to be heads up as you are running this race. The wrecks can be hard to see, so you always just got to be aware because you might head off a corner and there'll be a car sideways on the track. And lastly, this is a long race, so we are most likely going to have some green flag pit stops. And these pit roads, first of all, they are extremely hard to enter. So, I know I saw some drivers practicing entering here in qualifying and in practice. So, and of course, depending on how many drivers, there's multiple pit lanes, so there can be drivers on each side. It looks like there won't be tonight, but there may be somebody on the other side, so that might be something to keep in mind as well. I believe it's 20 or more drivers where there will be drivers on the other pit road. All right, we are gridding for tonight's event. Got Jeffrey Belk on YouTube. He says, key to the race, done die. Yeah, that's another good one. So, Eddie Morris with a 15.133. Driver for CCM in that 8 car. He will grab his second pole of the season. Outside of him, that is Wasted Wages Racing's Colin Willems in the 17, one of our 2 Canadians in the field tonight. Third is Neon Racing's Devin Butchno in the 68. And fourth That's the 13 machine of Neon Racing, or the 14 Neon Racing driver of Brian Merle Jr. And rounding out your top 5, that's CCM's Austin Blaylock in the 99. 6th is the 35, Will Witt, driver for Wasted Wages Racing. 7th is CCM's Joe Wright in the 82. 8th, that 40 CCM driver of Brian Nudie, last week's winner. 9th, that is Jeffrey Belk in the 54. He drives for Intensity DBC Sim Racing. And rounding out your top 10, it's Cheeseburger, Michael Lawrence in the 47. 11th is Intensity DBC Racing's Josh Hall in the 81. 12th is Dave Wright in that 84. 13th is the 43 Intensity DBC Sim Racing driver of David Hartney. And last but most certainly not least, the other Canadian in the field, driver for Wasted Wages Racing in the 37, that is Derek Chaput. 14 cars, all with a chance to win here at Bristol. But only one can be considered the winner. There will be some prizes tonight. So these drivers are not just fighting for points and bragging rights. $10 will go to the winner, $10 will go to the top rookie, and $5 will go to the stage winner. Actually, don't believe there are any rookies in the field tonight. So that might just go to somebody else, or it might not be a prize at all. But we know it'll be $5 for the stage winner, $10 to the race winner, so drivers fighting for that. Pace car making the hard left turn onto pit road. Green flag is out, and the Volunteer 80 is underway. Great start on the outside for Colin Willems. He leads the field into 1 and 2, and he is able to get clear over Eddie Morris. Side by side for third. Teammates Devin Butchno, Brian Merle Jr. with the nose on the outside, and he is able to get clear over Devin Butchno heading into 1 and 2. Junior trying to reel in now. Second place, Eddie Morris. Looks like we got a battle for fourth. Devin Butchno, Will Witt. Witt on the outside. Butchno, he's got the nose off of 4, but Witt with the crossover into 1 and 2. Great short track racing between these two, and Witt is able to get back clear over Devin Butchno. Eddie Morris just ran the fastest lap time of the race, 15.15 for that 8 machine. Brian Merle Jr. trying to get by Eddie Morris for that second place position. And Eddie Morris is trying to reel in Colin Willems for first. Your top 3 running very, very close together and lurking not too far behind these 3. That is Will Witt in the 35. Junior underneath Eddie Morris heading into 3 and 4. He's got the nose and he is clear. Brian Merle Jr. to second. Eddie trying to do a crossover move. He is able to get back under Brian Merle Jr. They are side by side heading through 1 and 2 and on to the backstretch. Junior leads by about a fender. Eddie trying to fight back on the bottom. The top seems to be the fastest way around the track at the moment. And Brian Merle Jr. able to, he's got about, I don't know, Eddie Morris is to his door now. We see Morris getting a little bit loose off of 4 there. And that is going to hurt his momentum. Junior able to get clear over him. And Brian Merle Jr. will set his sights now on your first place driver, Colin Willems. Elsewhere in the field, Eddie Morris battling with Will Witt. As I say that, looks like Eddie Morris is reeling back in. Looks like Junior slipped up somewhere and cost him some momentum. And so that allowed Eddie Morris to close that gap between him and Brian Merle Jr. This track very easy to mess up at. Got to be very, very careful that you are consistently hitting your marks, or one wrong move and you'll lose a position, 2, maybe 3. Eddie Morris trying to see what Junior's doing. He looks low, heading into 1 and 2. He's to his rear quarter panel. He's to his door. They're side by side now. Eddie Morris with the nose, heading into turns 3 and 4. He's got a big run on the bottom, and he is clear. Eddie Morris back to second here at the last great Coliseum. Junior trying to take that position back, but now he's battling with Will Witt. Will Witt able to get by Junior, and now his teammate Devin Bucchino is looking low under him for fourth, and the floodgates open in a short amount of time there for Brian Merle Jr. Lost position after position. Looks like he went from second all the way to fifth, and he may lose another position or two to Austin Blaylock, Joe Wright, and Brian Nudi, who are lurking right behind him. Devin Bucchino trying to reel in Will Witt for that third place position. Will Witt so far is your biggest mover of the race. He's gained 3 positions since the green flag drop. He's worked his way up from 6th all the way to 3rd. But he may lose one of those positions if Devin Bucchino can catch him. Last time by, looks like Devin Bucchino, there we go, he's under him, off of 2, onto the backstretch into 3 and 4. Looks like Bucchino is almost clear. And there we go, he officially is. Bucchino will be clear over Will Witt as they cross the start-finish line. Eddie Morris trying to reel in Colin Willems now for that first place position. Last time by, Morris 700ths faster than Colin Willems. He's going to need to be a little bit faster than that if he wants to get up there to Willems. Right now he's trying to see what Willems is doing, where he's braking, where he's lifting, where he's getting back into the gas, trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to get by him. Trying to figure out, where's Willems slipping up the most? Where's he struggling at? And that might be the place where Eddie is going to want to try to pass that 17 machine. Eddie Morris, Colin Willems, they've had great battles throughout this season. Both of them on rival teams, CCM and Wasted Wages. And if Eddie Morris can get up there to Colin Willems, I think it'll be another battle on record between these two. But they always battle very cleanly. Both drivers have respect for each other. So right now, Colin Willems just trying his best to be smooth, be consistent. Try not to make any mistakes, because one little mistake for Colin Willems and Eddie Morris, he can pounce on that and use it to get by that 17. Elsewhere on track, Brian Nudi and Brian Merle Jr. side by side. Nudi with the nose off of 2, and he is able to get clear. Now Austin Blaylock is side by side with the 13. Just a couple of laps to go, Brian Merle Jr. was running in second, and now he just got past and sits in 8th right now. He has lost 6 positions in a short amount of time. Disappointing start of the race for that 13 machine. He's going to need to reevaluate something and try to improve on what he has been doing. Eddie Morris continuing to chase Colin Willems for this lead. Trying to find any sort of way to get by him. We are officially 25 laps through this thing here at Bristol. And we watch this battle continue between Eddie Morris and Colin Willems. Another thing that Eddie might be doing is searching for where's going to be the best line to try to make something happen. Here at Bristol, you can run multiple lanes. You can run on that bottom. You can run in the middle of the track, or you can run right up against that black wall. So Eddie Morris is just trying to find where is going to be the best place to run to get good momentum to get up there to Colin Willems. Looks like right now Eddie Morris is taking it to the bottom of the track, trying to find speed there. I want to talk a little bit about the track that we are racing at tonight. Bristol Motor Speedway bills itself as the world's fastest half mile, and despite straightaways barely 200 yards long, it is a very fast racetrack. The secret is in the variable banking in the 300-yard wide-open corners. You may not have much room to accelerate off one corner before shutting down for the next, but with steep banking up to 30 degrees, there's not much loss of speed when you get there. And the all-concrete racing service provides great traction. With 160,000 seats arrayed in grandstands all the way around the racing surface, Bristol looks more like a football stadium on steroids than a typical racetrack. Veteran drivers have described racing at this East Tennessee Speed Emporium as the equivalent of flying a fighter plane in a gymnasium, so it's not surprising that every NASCAR Cup Series race draws a massive crowd. Still, the best seat in the house is the one behind the wheel, but it's sure not a relaxing one, with laps at racing speeds ticking by at barely more than 15 seconds. Oh, and the compact nature of the track means that there are infield pits on both the front and rear straightaways, so drivers have that added complication to deal with. At the conclusion of a 500-lap NASCAR Cup Series race, not a single car makes it back to the garage without at least a few bumps, scrapes, or other battle bruises, and the drivers aren't in much better shape. Open for competition in 1961, Bristol Motor Speedway has had a number of remodeling over the years, and several owners as well. It has been under its current owner, Speedway Motorsports, that Bristol Motor Speedway has enjoyed its greatest period of growth. The track hosts events for all three of NASCAR's National Series and the ARCA Menard Series, and as of 2021, once again goes through a dirt makeover in the spring to welcome World of Outlaws events as well as the Cup Series' only dirt race. So there you go, Bristol, one of the top NASCAR tracks on the East Coast. I have been here, and let me tell you, the pictures and iRacing does not do it justice. It is an incredible facility. It truly is, being in a coliseum while watching gladiators fight it out. It's a gigantic bowl, and the cars are just marbles rolling around it at 130, 140 miles per hour. It is an incredible sight to see. If you are in the Bristol, Tennessee area, definitely consider at least visiting Bristol Motor Speedway, even if you can't see a race, because it is an absolute spectacle to be seen. We see Brian Newty reeling in Devin Bucciano for that third place position. He looks low, heading off of 2. He's got a great run. He's to the rear quarter panel. He's to the door of that 68 machine. They're pretty much equal heading off of turn number 4. Bucciano with a little bit of a nose once again. And now Brian Newty with the nose. He's got a great run off the corner. He is almost all the way clear. There we go. He is Brian Newty now to third. Devin Bucciano falls out of the top 3 and into 4th. Now there is going to be a stage break in 9 laps at lap number 50. So a race control caution will come out. This will give drivers an opportunity to come in, get some tires, get some fuel, and the field will get bunched back up. Joe Wright trying to get by Devin Bucciano now for 4th. This will be another position that Bucciano will lose. Looks like Bucciano has burnt up his tires a little bit after he puts new ones on this 68 machine. I'll have to reevaluate how he's going to try to save tires here, because whatever he's doing does not seem to be working. Joe Wright almost underneath him. He's going to dive it down into turns 1 and 2. He's to his rear quarter panel, but he's going to fall back behind Bucciano. Bucciano trying his best to hang on to that 4th place position. Remember, the stage break winner will get $5. So if Colin Willems stays in the lead here for the rest of these 5 laps heading into the stage break, he will be $5 richer. Eddie Morris 3 seconds behind him. He's going to need to really do something here if he wants to reel in Colin Willems. And as I say that, Eddie Morris has got Brian Newty underneath him. Newty with the nose heading off of turn number 4. And looks like Brian Newty will get up to 2nd. That'll be 1 extra stage point that Newty will be getting. And now he's going to try to track down Colin Willems before the stage break. I don't know if he can. Something really bad is going to need to happen to Willems if Newty's going to try to win the stage break here, because Colin Willems, he's got 3 seconds between him and Newty. Joe Wright continuing to try to look underneath of Devin Bucciano, trying to get 1 extra stage point. Just trying to find the best spot where he can get by Bucciano. And it looks like heading into the stage break, Colin Willems will win the stage here at Bristol. And we will see the caution flag come out right there. Here's your top 10 after the stage and after the first 50 laps. Colin Willems, Brian Nudi, Eddie Morris, Devin Bucciano, Joe Wright, Austin Blaylock, Jeffrey Belk, Will Witt, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, Brian Merle Jr. And all of those drivers will get stage points going from 10 points to first and 1 point to 10th. So that'll be a nice little extra point or points added to their point total. And that'll definitely help some people in their bid for the playoffs. So there we go. We got majority of the field coming into the pits. So Eddie Morris with the advantage. He does have that first pit stall. And looks like it is going to be 4 tires and fuel for Eddie Ford. And Colin Willems will win the race off of pit road. Then it's Brian Nudi. Then it's Eddie Morris. Then we got Joe Wright, Austin Blaylock. It's side by side. It looks like Witt will get Belk off of pit road. Then it's Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. We've got Devin Bucciano, Brian Merle Jr. onto pit road right now. So the whole field getting 4 tires and fuel. And I believe it'll be the same for Bucciano and Merle Jr. We also have David Hartney, Derek Chaput, and Josh Hall in the pits. We only have one driver that stayed out. Dave Wright has not made a pit stop yet here for the stage. Interesting decision there by Dave. Yep. Looks like it's tires and fuel for everybody except for Dave Wright, who has not come in yet. So Colin Willems, it's been a really good performance by him so far. Hoping to have a dominating performance like Brian Nudi did last week at Darlington. But the driver who did have that dominating performance, Brian Nudi, he is not going to make it easy for Colin. He was looking really fast right before the stage break, finishing second. I think he's going to give Colin a run for his money here. I believe the drivers are going to pit one more time. And that will be at around lap 100, and then they should be able to make it for the rest of the way. So that will mean we will have green flag pit stops. Yeah, look at that. Dave Wright never coming into the pits. He's going to have to try to hang on with old tires. Looks like Jeffrey Belk coming in and topping off on some fuel. But yeah, we will have green flag pit stops coming up here unless we have a caution come out. Pit road, like I mentioned, really hard to enter, so we'll see how drivers handle that. Hopefully some of them have practiced pit road entry. Pace cars in. And green flag is back out here. We're back racing here at the Last Great Coliseum. Willems up through the gears, heading through 1 and 2. We've got a side-by-side battle for third. Joe Wright, Eddie Morris. Joe with the big run on the outside. Almost clear, but oh, Eddie Morris looking like a rocket off of 4, and he is able to get clear. Eddie to third, side-by-side for fourth now. Will Witt, Joe Wright, side-by-side. Witt has the nose over Wright, but looks like Wright is fighting back on that outside lane. There we go. Fantastic run, and he is clear. Joe Wright to fourth, and now Blaylock looking underneath Will Witt for fifth. Side by side between those two. Witt, he is almost clear. And there we go. Witt is able to get to Austin Blaylock, so he will stay in that 5th place position. Eddie Morris trying to reel in his teammate, Brian Nudi, for 2nd. Eddie, he knows his teammate's driving style very well just because, they are teammates. So we'll see if Eddie Morris will use that knowledge to his advantage. Nudi also beginning to reel in Colin Willems for that 1st place position. He's got a big run heading into turns 1 and 2. Watch out for the 40 machine of Brian Nudi. He was faster than Colin Willems last time by. We saw he was reeling in Colin Willems heading into the stage break, and we see he is reeling him in now. Watch out for Brian Nudi. He's getting closer and closer to that back bumper of Colin Willems. He is almost within striking distance. Just trying to set everything up. And there we go, Brian Nudi. He is within striking distance of that 17 machine. And look who it is, Eddie Morris and Brian Nudi almost getting under. There we go, he is able to get under Willems heading through turns 3 and 4. We see Colin with the nose on the outside, and he gets back clear over Brian Nudi. What I was about to say is this is a 3-horse race for first, because Eddie Morris is right with Nudi and Willems. If either of these two make a mistake, Eddie Morris is ready to pounce. Once again, Nudi within striking distance of that 17 machine, just trying to get everything set up. Nudi, Willems, former teammates at YXU Racing, so Brian Nudi very familiar with Willems' driving style, and we'll see if he uses that knowledge to his advantage. And look at this. The battle for the lead will become a 4-horse race. Joe Wright joins the party. Eddie Morris able to get underneath Brian Nudi for second side by side. Morris has the nose. Morris is clear, and Joe Wright will follow right behind Brian Nudi. Nudi loses 2 positions in a short amount of time, and now it's Eddie Morris trailing Colin Willems for the lead. Eddie Morris with a rocket right now. He's able to get under Colin Willems. He is to his door, heading into turns 3 and 4. And they are pretty much equal now. Morris with the nose heading off of turn number 4. Willems fights back on the outside. Joe Wright right behind them if either of these two make a mistake. And all of these drivers are coming up on lap traffic. That's Dave Wright. So right now, almost 3 wide heading into 1 and 2. That was sketchy for a second. Luckily, no incident happens, no harm, no foul. We stay green flag racing. The battle of the lead still going on. But it looks like at the moment, Willems is able to get clear over Eddie Morris. So Eddie Morris is going to have to reevaluate and try to make another pass at Colin Willems. Pass on Colin Willems. And he is able to get under him off of 4 side by side as they cross the start-finish line. Willems with the nose heading into 1 and 2. Morris to Willems' door. Now to the rear quarter panel. Trying to do, there we go. Able to get back under him. Joe Wright trailing right behind these two. But Colin Willems, he's got a ton of momentum on that outside. It's going to be hard to battle that. Just because the outside seems to be the preferred groove right now here at Bristol. So once again, Eddie Morris is going to have to try to set up another pass. Eddie Morris continuing to try to search for what Colin Willems' weak point is, and that'll be where he's going to try to make that pass. Willems trying to extend that gap between him and Eddie Morris, but Morris not letting that happen. He's got a big run heading through turns 3 and 4. Morris continuing to try to get under that 17 machine. He's had no luck so far. Ooh, right about to the rear quarter panel. He's going to dive it down into 1 and 2. He's to the rear quarter panel. But then he's going to fall right back in line behind Colin Willems. Eddie Morris has got to be getting frustrated. He's tried everything he can to get by Colin Willems, but so far, he's had no luck. Like I mentioned before, Joe Wright, he is right in this battle as well. If either of these two slip up, he can pounce on the opportunity. Eddie Morris sending it down into turns 1 and 2. He has 2 Willems' rear quarter panel, but Willems able to get back clear over Eddie Morris. He's continuing to try to dive it down into the corners. He's right to the door of Willems, but man, he can't get by him. Eddie Morris, he's just thrown everything at Colin Willems, but no luck getting by him. He's just going to continue to try and get something done as he tries to make it by Colin Willems. Colin Willems is running faster lap times than Eddie Morris. So that may be one thing that is hurting Eddie as he tries to get by Colin. Now, I don't know if Joe is content staying behind his teammate, or we may see Joe try to make a pass on Eddie if he doesn't make a pass soon. Joe, I mean, he's right on the coattails of that 8 machine, ready to try to make a move. But like I mentioned, he may be content just staying behind his teammate at the moment. And Eddie Morris, once again, will send it down into 3 and 4. But Willems just gets a great run on that outside off the corner. He will remain in that first place position. There we go. Going around lap traffic, Dave Wright. Dave Wright falls 2 laps down here. Josh Hall will fall 3 laps down. And looks like Brian Nudie once again joining the battle for first. He looks low under Joe Wright, battle for third. And Nudie will get clear. Brian Nudie now to position number 3. Joe Wright will fall to 4th. CCM trying to get a 1-2-3 here tonight. But they have Colin Willems in their way, preventing them from doing that. Now Brian Nudie is looking low under Eddie Morris for second. He is able to get by him. And now Brian Nudie will set his sights on your first place driver, Colin Willems. I will say this, the green flag pit stop window is open. The question is, when will we see our first driver head on to pit road? I'll keep everybody updated on when the first driver makes that hard left turn onto pit road. At this time, we are going to turn up the volume and pump up the intensity here. You will get to see the sights and hear the sounds of the racetrack. Here we go. That will do it for Pump Up the Intensity. Hopefully you enjoyed us turning up the volume, but we set our sights now. Back to the racing action where Colin Willems remains your leader. We do have a driver on pit road, and that is Jeffrey Belk. Although this may be unscheduled considering looks like Jeffrey Belk does have some damage, but this will begin the pit cycle. Faster fare for Jeffrey Belk, and looks like he's going to get a drink of fuel and 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Belk should be able to make it the rest of the way here at Bristol. Looks like he's trying. Although that may have been unscheduled, he's technically trying the short pit strategy. Could very well work, and we may see Jeffrey Belk in victory lane if that strategy works out. Now Joe Wright making that left turn onto pit road. It'll be a drink of Goodyear fuel and fresh Goodyear tires. Excuse me, a drink of Sunoco fuel and 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Devin Bucciano trying to reel in Will Witt right now for that 3rd place position. Will Witt is still kind of currently running a little bit faster than Devin. Big run for Devin Bucciano as they were coming up on a lap car there. It's Dave Wright. And there they are going around Joe Wright as he exits pit road. Devin Bucciano trying to figure out how he's going to get by Will Witt here. Looking high, looking low, trying to set up the pass. And here comes Joe Wright going by these two as he heads up to the leader, Colin Willems, trying to get his lap back. He's got about 3 seconds until he catches him. Big run for Devin Bucciano off of 4. He is trailing right behind Will Witt. He's continuing to try to set it up, and then it'll be go time. We'll see Devin Bucciano make a move. So far, we've seen Joe Wright and Jeffrey Belk opt for the short pit strategy. And we shall see if it'll work out for either of them. Bucciano able to get low underneath Will Witt, but that does not work out, and Will Witt is able to get right back by Devin Bucciano. Bucciano looking high, looking low, trying to set up the pass. That 68 machine, and he's been strong all race long. Just haven't really said his name too much. He's been faster later in the runs, and we're seeing that right here. Devin Bucciano just trying to do anything to get by Will Witt here. And he is able to get underneath him once again. Bucciano with the nose. Bucciano is clear. Devin Bucciano now to 3rd place. Will Witt falls to 4th. We've got a battle for the lead beginning to brew. Brian Nudie reeling in Colin Willems. You got Dave Wright into the pits. Fresh Goodyear tire, Sunoco fuel for Dave. This will be his first pit stop of the race for him. Crazy he's been able to go this long so far. Brian Nudie and Colin Willems. These two have battled with each other for a lot of this season. And we may have another battle between these two tonight. I mean, they've already battled a little bit, but Nudie has not been able to get by that 17 of Colin Willems, except for maybe a lap or two. Colin Willems has been able to keep this lead. But that may change if Nudie can get by him. Austin Blaylock, he is into the pits. Another front runner coming in and getting some fresh tires and some fuel. Currently have 4 drivers on the lead lap. Your top 5 all still need to make a green flag pit stop. Colin Willems, Brian Newty, Devin Butchino, Will Witt, Brian Merle Jr. Once again, Brian Newty trying to get by Colin Willems here. And Devin Butchino, he is coming into the pits now. And this will leave just 9 drivers that still need to make a green flag pit stop. And Joe Wright, who was one of the first drivers to come into the pits, he is now into the top 5. He runs in 4th, trying to get on to the lead lap. He'll have to get by Colin Willems, though, to do so. Speaking of Colin Willems, he's continuing to battle with Brian Newty. Brian Newty trying to set something up on Willems. They're coming up on lap traffic. That is David Hartney. Here comes Devin Butchino looking low underneath both of them. He will now go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. So the question is, when will we see Willems and Newty make that left turn onto pit road? Looks like Eddie Morris going by both of them. Eddie Morris will now only be 1 lap down. Austin Blaylock also coming up on them. He's going to try to go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. Brian Merle Jr. finally coming into the pits. That 13. I know he'll try to get some damage fixed and then some tires and fuel. Yep, there we go. Taking that faster pair and getting some fresh ones on and a drink of fuel. 22 laps to go here at Bristol. Your top 3 still have not come into the pits yet. We are now have 8 drivers that need to make a green flag pit stop. I don't know. They may be able to make it the rest of the way. But I don't know if that will benefit them any. This could be their downfall. I will say this. The first driver on fresh tires, Joe Wright, he still has not made it back onto the lead lap yet. We've got 20 laps to go. Brian Newty trying to get within striking distance to get by Colin Willems here. Just trying to set something up. Again, these two formerly teammates at YXU Racing before the team folded and drivers went their separate ways. Right now, Brian Newty just trying everything he can to get by Colin Willems. Of course, he's waiting for Willems to make a mistake, waiting for him to slip up. And Newty will look underneath him, but they are coming up on some lap traffic. That's Josh Hall. And so Brian Newty will have to restart his run at Colin Willems. "15 laps to go. and your driver the first driver with fresh tires, Joe Wright, he still has not made it onto the lead lap yet. The question is, can your top three make it? Josh Hall, he is into the pits now. So this will leave just 6 drivers that need to make a green flag pit stop. Except for now, I'm beginning to think you may not need one. "12 laps to go now. Colin Willems, 4/10 lead over second place. Brian Newdy is beginning to extend that lead. Colin Willems hoping to hang on. There they go, going around a lap car. Dave Wright. Colin Willems hoping to hang on and get his second win of the season. But Brian Newdy, he is hoping to continue his dominance this season and grab his 5th win in 9 races. And of course, if both of these drivers mess up, there's always Will Witt running in 3rd. And here goes Devin Buchno coming to get on the lead lap. Devin Buchno, first driver on fresh tires to get back onto the lead lap. He'll have to close the leaders in by 16 seconds in 8 laps. Tall task for Devin Buchno. Can he do it? He'll have to gain about 2 seconds per lap. Brian Newdy has had his work cut out for him tonight. Started in the 8th place position. He has worked his way up to 2nd. But now he's trying to get into 1st, trying to win 2 races in a row. But not if Colin Willems has anything to say about it. Five laps to go. Devin Buchno has got the gap between him and your leaders to 13 seconds. I do not believe that he will play a factor. It's going to be between Colin Willems and Brian Newdy for the race win. The two coming up on lap traffic right now. That's Josh Hall. Colin Willems trying to decide where he wants to go. Whether he wants to try to get by Josh high or low, while still also protecting the lead from Brian Newdy. 3 laps to go. What can Brian Newdy do? He is within distance to try to make a run at Colin Willems, but he's going to need to do something now. As Colin Willems crosses the line, that will make it 2 laps to go. Brian Newdy still 3/10 off of Colin Willems. He's really going to need to push right now. Final lap. Colin Willems. It has been a dominant performance for him tonight after starting in 2nd. He's led majority of the laps. He's had to hold off multiple drivers, and he heads through 3 and 4 in that 17 machine. Colin Willems will win the Volunteer 80 and grab his 2nd win of the season. Brian Newdy falls short after being behind Colin Willems for those last stretch of laps. And then finishing 3rd, not to be outdone. Great race for the 35 of Will Witt. Awesome race for Colin Willems. Almost had a wasted wages racing 1, 2, 3. If Brian Newdy was replaced by Derek Chaput, unfortunately, rough race for Chaput. He finishes 12th, but we have a 1-3 for wasted wages racing tonight. And there is Colin Willems burning it down on the front stretch. Phenomenal race for that 17 machine. Again, second win of the season, 8th top 5 and 9th top 10. Colin Willems will keep his streak of being in the top 10 in every single race this season. Brian Nudi will grab his 7th top 5 of the season, 8th top 10 of the season, and Will Witt will grab his 3rd top 5 of the season and 4th top 10 of the season. So we are waiting for Will Witt to hop in the waiting room. There's a look at the finishing results. You can look at that while we do our driver interviews. And there we go. We've got Will Witt in the waiting room, the man from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. Let's pull in Will Witt. Hey, Will, this is Atlanta in the broadcast room. Do you have a copy?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, fantastic run here tonight at the Lost Great Coliseum. After starting in 6th, you were able to work your way up to 3rd through the course of this race, and it was a little bit of an up and down race. You know, at times you were running about mid-pack, and other times we saw you were running in the top 3, and there on that last stretch, we saw you did not come into the pits like a lot of other drivers, and that track position helped you stay in the top 3. So kind of walk us through that strategy that you had that helped put you in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of stay out. We could make it on fuel. You know, we didn't think it'd be worth coming in later on for tires, and you know, nobody really thought we could make up on time, and you know, obviously we were right on that. We were kind of confused. Colin and I were talking. We were kind of confused. But guys were coming in for tires. It's like, we didn't think we could make up time. So, you know, hey, staying out paid off. I know a few more laps, Devin would have caught me, but we got a 3rd place out of it. I'll take it.
Now, I know Bristol absolutely brutal on the tires. What was the key to saving tires tonight? I know you and Colin were able to last really, really long on a set of tires.
Oh man, I'm the wrong person to ask. I've been off iRacing for too long now. You know, only my 2nd race back this season. But typically for me, it was just kind of back up the entries. I would brake a little bit, try to put some more on the rear. You know, my right front was destroyed after that first stint, so I had to change up my driving style to try to compensate for that. You know, I definitely was not fast tonight. I just kind of got lucky with strategy.
Now, before we let you go, Will, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Oh, for sure. I got to thank Mick over at Falcon Graphics. I keep forgetting to put his paint on the car, but he makes all my teammates paint, so they always look great. Nudie, Devin, everybody for putting this league on. It's always fun to be able to come back here and hang out and have a good time. Teammates, Colin, Chappie, we had Cheeseburger in there with us tonight, so it was good to have him in with us. Obviously, you up in the booth, you do a great job week in and week out.
I appreciate the kind words, Will. And again, awesome run tonight here at Bristol. Congrats on the podium. Have a great rest of your night.
Hey, thanks, you too.
Thank you. All right, let's now pull in your 2nd place finisher. He was your SCSRA Truck Series Season 3 champion, the man from Santa Rosa, California. Let's pull in Brian Nudi. Brian, this is Atlanta in the broadcast room. Do you have a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Awesome. Well, another great run here tonight at Bristol, carrying your momentum from last week's dominant performance at Darlington, but you didn't have the same result. Finished 2nd, running in the top. You know, you had fantastic speed tonight. You ran in the top 3 for a lot of tonight's event, but fortunately you finished the bridesmaid to Colin tonight. I mean, what do you think you could have done differently to change the result?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's anything I could have done differently. Colin was just the man to beat tonight, flag to flag, total domination. 2nd time it's happened this season. Colin did it tonight. I did it earlier this season in Richmond, and it was just a really good total all-around run for Colin, and I had absolutely nothing for him.
Now, I know here at Bristol, the racing line is always evolving, always changing. What did you find worked for you tonight at Bristol?
I was just trying to maintain the single line I had the whole time, just high on entry and coming low off the the exit was the best way that I just knew how to try to manage my tires. I did a great job. Unfortunately, Colin just did it a little bit better.
Now, before I let you go, Brian, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
As always, I got to thank all my teammates for letting me do this. I got to thank thank you up in the booth. You did an awesome job. Colin, awesome job he did. Just all the admins over at SCSRA, just an awesome job. Looking forward to going into the playoffs and to next season.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up tonight, Brian. Have a great rest of your night.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. And now let's pull in your winner from Strathroy, Ontario. It was your Season 3 iOS Cup Series champion, and now he is your winner at Bristol, grabbing his second win of the season. Let's pull in Colin Willems. Colin, this is Atlee in the broadcast room. Do you have a copy?
I got you, Atlee.
Awesome. Well, you grabbed your second win of the season tonight here at Bristol. Absolutely dominating performance after starting in second. You had a great start to this race, and then there was no turning back. You had a lot of drivers try to get by you, and most of them CCM drivers like Eddie Morris and Brian Nudie, but nobody could really find a way to get by you, and you were able to keep that lead all the way to the final lap where you were able to hold off Brian Nudie and grab, once again, your second win of the season. So, I mean, what do you think was the key to your win tonight?
Whoever at iRacing did this setup definitely had me in mind. This car did everything I needed it to do. It was perfectly tailored to my driving style. That's all it was. It wasn't anything I was doing any different. It's just this setup was just perfect for me.
Now, this is your second short track win in 2 seasons after not winning a short track race in Seasons 1 and Season 2. I mean, what do you think you've learned at short tracks that has kind of helped you start grabbing some wins?
Honestly, just following Nudie around the track most of the time. My opinion, he's the best short track guy we've got, and I've been fortunate to run behind him quite a bit over the last few seasons and just kind of pick up lines and breaking points and stuff like that. So I think it definitely paid off for me tonight.
Now, before we let you go, Colin, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates because I had some tonight. Chappie, Will Witt, and Cheeseburger for spending some time with us throughout the race. I got to thank Cassie, as always, for supporting. You up in the booth, you do a great job every week. All the admins, everybody involved. And Nudie for finishing second.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the victory tonight, Colin. Hopefully we might see a couple more throughout this season. And have a great rest of your night.
Hope so. Thanks, Ellie. Have a good night.
All right. Well, that will do it for tonight's event. One more time, congratulations to Colin Willems on his second win of the season. I want to give a big thank you to all of the league admins, David Hartney, Eddie Morris, Sylvain Segoin, Brian Nudie, and Devin Butchino. Thank you to all of them for all that they do for this league. Without them, this league would not run as smoothly as it does. Big thank you to Dev Sports Cards for sponsoring the series. I put the link to Dev's store, eBay store, in the description. He's got some awesome cards on there for purchase, and it's definitely the place to go if you are big into sports cards, whether you are a collector or a reseller. Also, make sure to check out thebuttkicker.com and check out the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. It's definitely something you want to grab if you are in iRacer. And, of course, I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to watch tonight. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as that would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach our goals of 2,500 followers on Facebook, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 1,000 followers on Twitch. Make sure to check out our Twitter, Intensity Broad 1. We're always dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there. And make sure to check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. There you can find merchandise from your favorite broadcaster, your favorite drivers, your favorite leagues, and so much more. We've got all of our Intensity Broadcasting merchandise on there. At Luis Racing merchandise, a bunch of cool auto racing novelty items, our driver collections, our lifestyle collections, our team collections, and the league collections. Especially make sure to check out the SCSRA section of the league collections and pick up an SCSRA t-shirt that comes in 5 different snazzy colors and sizes small to 5XL. Make sure to turn on the notification bell because next week in this series, it will be the regular season finale at Auto Club. You do not want to miss that. So, again, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a broadcast. I'm Atlee Atman Least on behalf of the entire Intensity Broadcasting team. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Over and out.